Hello, everyone. I wanted to get your, of course, opinion on this particular situation. Now, the backstory is the groom of the bride took back the wedding dress she picked out to appease his mother. Now, she was horrified when she learned that her fiance secretly swapped out her wedding dress that she picked out for the one his mother preferred. Now, the bride and her mother and some family members went on to, they were going to pick out her wedding gown or her wedding dress. And the groom mother she insisted on going along. So they allowed her to come and, along with them. And so while they were in the boutique or wherever they were in the store, the bride found a dress that she fell in love with and she really liked. It fit her, it suited her, it made her feel good, made her, she felt like this was the dress for her. Well, the mother, the groom's mother, she picked out a dress that she liked. And so the bride did say to her, thank you, but no thank you. I really like this dress. I really feel that this is the dress pretty much for me. And so the mother-in-law went on to talk about this vision. And she had been sharing this with her son about some vision of how she wanted the bride to look. And this is the only son in the family. He has some sisters. The mother, the parent, they have sisters. His siblings are sisters, but he's the only son. So the groom's mother has come up with some type of vision that she wants to see the bride in. So, and so she wanted this dress, the groom's mother. And so because the bride chose the dress that she wanted, and what made her feel special and pretty and whatever else, she went back after they had left the store, because the bride did purchase the dress. And the mother called her son angry. And that she didn't buy the dress I wanted her to have. And I picked it out. And it's similar to the dress that she had. It was not even different, very similar. She's talking like that. And the groom calls up his fiance and tells her, you upset my mother. She's upset because you didn't buy the dress, pick the dress she wanted. And she wanted that dress, and it's a vision that she has for me, and all this stuff that the groom was telling his bride, his fiance. And so, the fiance told him, this is not, hey, this is the dress I like. I feel good in it, blah, blah, blah. I like it. And, and I told her, thank you, but this is the dress. So the groom decided to go to the house and pick up the dress that the bride had purchased for herself for their wedding day, and take the dress back and buy the one his mother wanted. So when the bride came home from work and she saw that her dress was gone and it was a different dress there, she was livid, and she called up the groom and she went off, yelling, screaming, and went off. And he's trying to tell her it's no big deal, she's overreacting, and all of that. So there's no update yet to this story, but if I get an update, I'll bring the update to you, because I'd like to know if she went along with the wedding. Did she go ahead and proceed? Because there was a lot of comments about they would not do it. They would run far away from him. So I wanted to share, exactly about this, because it had nothing to do with money or anything like that. So I'm going to share the article, and I want you to comment on it as a woman, or even as the groom, what you think about this. But I'm going to also give you the comments, and then I'm going to give you my opinion on this as well. So countless women admit to dreaming about their wedding day since childhood. The flowers, the cake, and of course the dress. Most of these aspiring brides emphasize themselves wearing the gown of their dreams, and they don't imagine being forced into something their mother-in-law picked out. And yet this is precisely what happened to one woman, according to a lengthy Reddit post. In it, the 28-year-old bride claimed that her fiancé went behind her back and returned the dress she'd chosen, replacing it with the one that his mom, M-U-M, preferred. So I take this as over in the UK somewhere, right? She began by describing her future mother-in-law as intrusive but nice overall. However, she admitted that wedding planning had been an absolute nightmare, owing to the older woman's unwillingness to agree on most things. My fiancé said that since he's her only son, then I should respect and appreciate this vision that she has for the wedding and how it should be, the Redditor explained. She insisted to come along for wedding dress shopping. I took her with me and my mom and friends. I was so lucky to have found what I was looking for, but she picked the dress that she liked so much and said that she'd always pictured her son's bride in it. My mom and friends thought this line was creepy. I thought the dress was somewhat creepy and totally not my type. I apologized and thanked her for her vision, but told her that I'd already decided on a dress that I had envisioned myself wearing at my wedding. Now, they have a picture of a black bride here, okay? So I'm not sure if that's actually who she is, but there's a picture of a black bride here. Now, the mother-in-law didn't take kindly to the rejection and complained about it to her son, our narrator said. Now, he came home in the evening ranting about how I made his mom upset and turned down her help in choosing the wedding dress, she continued. He said that I should consider the dress his mom wanted me to buy, especially knowing that both dresses weren't that much different anyway, like she said, but I told him, yes, they were different, like so much different. The Redditor said that they eventually dropped the argument, but then he threw a major curveball. Yesterday I came home and found out that he had returned my wedding dress and replaced it with the one his mom wanted, she wrote. I called him and he was straightforward about what he did and why he did it. I lost it and started screaming at him. He asked me to calm down and really give this dress a chance. The 28-year-old said she was so furious she went to stay with one of her friends. Meanwhile, her partner kept calling and texting, chastising her for screaming at him, telling her she was overreacting and reminding her that it was his wedding too. He went on and on about how his mom had a vision and good intentions and just wants what's best for me as her future daughter-in-law, she wrote. In wrapping up her post, the original poster said her own mother was livid at the situation, but her dad told her it wasn't worth ruining her relationship with her in-laws. She concluded, he suggested I wisen up and go with the flow, but is it too much for me to be able to pick my own wedding dress without being guilted about it just to keep the peace? Now, there was thousands of commentators, but before I get to theirs, I wanted to stand corrected. He came home and they got into the argument. It wasn't a phone call. The phone call took place after she found out that he had switched the dress. Okay, but before I get into what they were saying, I want to give my own opinion on this because I was looking at a lot of different things with this. Now, some people may say it's not about the dress, it's about love. And that may be true. It should be about love. It should be about love. We don't know these people, but it should be about love. When you're getting married to someone, you know, you're engaged and you're getting married, it should be about love. However, it doesn't appear to be about love with the mother, because it's not the bride, it's the mother. Because if it was really about love, then the mother would not have inserted herself in trying to pick out a dress for the bride and then getting upset. That's the key, getting upset when the bride picked out a dress she wanted to wear versus what the mother had always envisioned. So the mother has a vision of how a wedding should be, what the bride should wear. That's not love. That is materialistic. That's a materialistic type of mindset, that she is envisioned what the bride should look like, and it's like she thinks this is her wedding, which is a self-interest. This is self-serving, and self-interest is how I see it, because she's envisioned how the wedding should look, but it's not her wedding. It's the groom and the bride's wedding, which is her potential future daughter-in-law, right? And so she is wanting to take over someone else's wedding. Now, there's nothing wrong with her giving her input and maybe being a part of something, but I don't believe, in my opinion, that the mother-in-law should be picking out the wedding dress of a 28-year-old bride. That is something that the bride should be picking out. She should be happy on that day. She should feel most special and beautiful on that day. She should feel comfortable in that wedding dress. She should feel like this is the dress for me, you know, and things like that. The groom's mother is overstepping her boundaries. And it sounds like to me it's about selfishness, a form of control, self-centeredness, self-interest, self-serving, and also some narcissistic behaviors. Okay, those are some narcissistic behaviors. She might even be narcissistic, you know, those traits where she might have even been diagnosed, but we don't know because, you know, narcissistic is a big thing that just has been trending. But it just, you know, that's what it sounds like to me, in my opinion. So it's not about love with the mother-in-law. It's about the look. You know what I mean? It's about the vision. She's been having this vision. And because the son, he's the only son, it's like she wants somebody on his arm that looks good. You know what I mean? That she can be proud of and be pleased with, because this is what she wants. It's all about the curbside appeal. Okay. And so the groom, and let me get on the groom now. And I may get back to the bride, but I will get back to the bride. But the groom is, to me, he's weak. He's not a strong man. He is self-serving his mother, and he's appeasing his mother, which puts him in a difficult position. We understand that because he wants to please his mother. Don't upset her. She's already gotten upset. And he wants to appease his mother for whatever reason. Now, we don't know if there's some monetary you know, gain in this, financial gain or monetary. We don't know about any of that. So the article didn't speak on none of that. But it sounds like there is a motive, some type of motive behind this type of behavior coming from both of them. Again, he's playing into the hands of his mother, and you know what I'm saying? He's playing in the hands of her. And if you keep doing that, you're going to be in a checkmate position because you've put yourself in that position, and then all of that's around you. You're going to have a hard time trying to break down those layers that you allowed to happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so he's even trying to put his bride in a position like that as well, with both of them stuck because they've allowed certain behaviors, and the bride is not going for it. She's standing firm. You know, from what she did, she stood firm. She bought the dress, but she also, you know, weighed in, and her mother was livid, and the dad came out and said something to her, which I'll get to that too as well. But the groom is wrong. I feel like he's a weak man, in my opinion. He doesn't seem to be a strong man, and he should, and there's a way he can tell his mother without disrespecting her, is saying, Mom, this is my bride and our wedding vows, you know, and she should be able to pick out the dress that she wants. She picked it out. I have to respect her ideals, respect her opinions, respect her as a person. Those are things that he should be willing to, you know, those are things he should already be doing. And the fact is, you know, and protecting her, you know, as a protector, you know, and stepping up. But he's allowing his mother to get involved and try to control the bride on her thought process, her patterns, her opinions, her ideals, you know, that stop her from having those things. And we were all born to have those things and freedom of expression. So she should be able to freely express what she wants to look like on her wedding day. And in most traditional weddings, the groom never sees the dress or the bride. He doesn't see the dress until the day of the wedding, when she's walking down the aisle. Now, if I'm wrong, tell me and I'll stand corrected. But from what I know about it and everything, and what I remember growing up and hearing people getting married, the groom did not even see the wedding dress. He had nothing to do with picking out the wedding dress, period, point blank. And so he goes and he sees the wedding dress, takes it back. So now he knows what it looks like. And then he goes and buys the other one. So he still knows what it looks like. And the thing is, the dress, she said, was not similar. That dress was not similar at all to the dress that the mother-in-law, the groom's mother, because she's not her mother-in-law yet. Potential, okay? There's some potential there. it was some potential there until this happened. So I don't know what's going to happen, what happened after. We hope to hear an update. But anyway, he should never even have been involved. He shouldn't have inserted himself in that at all. And he should have put his mother in check in a nice, respectful, compassionate way. Not saying disrespectful, but just, hey, you know, Mom, I love you. You know, I value your opinions. I love you. And I know you're trying to, you know, you got this vision you've had for me. But Mother, when it comes to my bride and the dress, we got to let her, you know, decide on the dress that she wants for herself. But hey, how about if you do this and I'll talk with her? You know, how about if you do that? And the thing is that she's just the potential mother-in-law. She is not the bride's mother. There's the bride's mother is involved in this. And so they seem to not been able to, I don't know if they stepped up and the bride's mother said something to her, because maybe the bride's mother should have said something to the mother, like woman to woman as mothers, you know, with children already, grown children. You know, maybe she should have got in it. But anyway, so then getting to the bride, she did reach out to, you know, her father, the mother's livid, and her father, and the father is telling her, you don't want to have a bad, it's not worth having, worth running the relationship, you know, over her future in-laws, not in-laws, but future in-laws over. And I understand that. But I think that if she does proceed in this marriage, this wedding, and proceeds, she's going to have a lifetime of turmoil. I think that this mother-in-law is this woman that is the potential mother-in-law. It's the mother-in-law, the bride. She's the mother-in-law Zilla, the mother Zilla in-laws. You see what I'm saying? The mother Zilla in-laws is what it sounds like she is. You know, she is going to be the nightmare from, you know, HE double hockey sticks. That's what it seems like to me. And I would not want any parts of that. Okay, I wouldn't. I would run far away from that situation. I would say, well, you know what? It's not worth ruining any type of relationship over. And because I already have red flags, I've seen them. And you know, there might even been red flags before they got engaged. And then when they got engaged, people come out with their real true colors because they think once they put a ring on your finger, you know, the family, well, he put a ring on her finger. Let's just tell the truth. And this is nothing against men, but let's tell the truth. There are some behaviors that don't show up until you get that ring on your finger. Then people start thinking they own you, not just the groom, but the family of the groom think they own you. And she should do this and she should do that. And you put that ring on her finger. You ought to be glad he's marrying you. And you're not going to find all of this stuff come out. And you could tell that's toxic. So for me, I would be like, you know what? There's more fishes in the sea. And I've seen some better looking ponds with some better fish. And they've been more fish in that pond over there. And the pond is clean. The water is clear. People are looking happy. People are looking like, you know, with their light shining, there's a glow. And I like that pond over there instead of that dirty pond over there that's polluted, that's dirty. You know, you can't see down in it. You know what I'm saying? There's trash around it. Who wants to go and hang out at a pond that looks like that? Especially spending the rest of their life with. So we have to look at it. We don't want a polluted pond. We want a clear, pure pond. When we're going into a marriage, we want a pure pond that's not polluted, that's clear, that's wholesome, that's purity. You know what I'm saying? But then there's a toxic pond. And sometimes they have to close down ponds and lakes because they're toxic. There's dirty. There's oil spills. You see what I'm saying? In this case, it seems like the pond is already polluted. And so for me, I would not want to be in a marriage like that. I would give that ring back so quick. And I would say, here's your ring back. I hope that I wish you and your mother well in the marriage that I hope you gain. You know, whatever. I wish you and your mother well in finding the wedding that you want to have. You see what I'm saying? I wish you well in the marriage that you and your mother want to have, because it seems like to me that you are too attached to your mother and your mother act like she marrying you. That's creepy to me. because now she wants to control everything your bride does. And then it's not going to just stop there. After the wedding, if she proceeds, then the mother, more than likely, because she's now the mother-in-law, she is going to be over their house telling them about oh, I like the bathroom to look this way. I want that wall painted that color, that room that color. I don't like that flooring. I want this, I want that, or I don't like that carpet. She's going to be doing all of that over at your house. And if you have children, bear children, she's going to be doing all of that too, trying to tell you, oh, my vision is these kids going to be this way. My vision is you need to come to my church. It's going to be a big old mess with this mother-in-law. It's going to be a big mess because the mother-in-law has not allowed her son to grow up. The mother-in-law has not taken a step back to say he's taking a wife. And see, the Bible says when a man takes a wife, when a man finds a wife, when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't say that when he finds a wife that everything, the parents and the family, it's a good thing altogether. Ain't nothing like that that says that. It should already be good. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't say that. It says when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. And also, you know, if you go to Genesis, it talks about in Genesis, when, you know, about that when a man will leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife. So the thing is, it doesn't say he's going to cleave to his mother and his dad and the family and all that. It doesn't say that. It says that when he leaves his mother and father, you know, he's going to cleave to his wife, you know, paraphrasing, okay? Paraphrasing. So don't come kill the messenger. I'm paraphrasing. But he's going to cleave to his wife. You all that follow the Bible and believers, you know what I'm saying. I'm paraphrasing. So I'm not, you know, I'm not giving you the exact words of the scripture. And there's a lot of translations. But I'm saying he's going to cleave to her. You know, he's not going to be supposed to be cleaving to the mother and cleaving to the father. And doesn't mention a father here on the groom's mother side, but he's supposed to cleave to her. So that means that he's supposed to not let anything break those vows. Nothing is supposed to compromise those vows. Nothing's supposed to come in between them. He's supposed to protect her, be the provider, to love on her. She's to protect him and give reverence and be submissive and all these things. I mean, we look at it, and submissive is not a bad thing. So let's be real, because everybody, if you're in a relationship, you submit to something. If you know you do. You know, agree to things. You sit down and you agree on things. So everything is not bad about submissiveness. So I don't want people to take that out of context, you know, and say, well, she's over there preaching submissiveness. No, because everybody submitted sometime. Because if you're with a man, he may submit to certain things and you may submit to certain things. That's how you work out your difference. That's how you get along in a relationship, a healthy relationship. So it ain't just some submitting of the woman, because even in the Bible, you know, the man submits to the woman, you know what I'm saying, to certain things. So at the end of the day, everything is about, you know, working together for the good. And if the term is submission, then, or submissive, that's what it is. But people take that term out of context and want it to be a negative term, when it's not always. When you go to work, you pretty much submitting to what they telling you to do too. You submissive, even if you don't agree with it, but you submit to keep your job. You submit because you're at work working, and it's not always a bad thing. Submission is not always a bad thing. And in the Bible, submission, it was God's ideal, and God's ideals are still good. God's ideals are still great. So, you know, let's not, you know, take that term out of context. But there are some people that do, and they be like, well, you supposed to submit to me, you know, and then they be abusive and things like that. So let's not take it out of context. You know, we don't want that. But what I'm saying is, let me get back to what I'm saying, is that he cleaves to his wife. He doesn't cleave to all those other people, those outsiders. And I'm not saying outsiders in a negative way, but a marriage is between a man and a wife, a man and a woman. A marriage is between a husband and a wife. You see what I'm saying? A husband and a wife. And so therefore, you shouldn't let anything come up against your marriage where you would have outside influences that's going to harm your relationship and your marriage, or even harm your wife or harm your husband. It works both ways, coming together collectively for the good of the relationship, for the good of each other, you know, and still having your individual thoughts and stuff like that, or individual, you know, ideas and stuff, but you come together and you put those together and work it out and come to some agreements and stuff like that, and resolution. So this man, to me, is weak in my opinion, because he's letting his mother already run his bride, run his marriage, his life, he's already allowing her too much freedom and control, which can be devastating in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? It could be devastating in a relationship. And it doesn't appear that if she does perceive that her marriage is even going to last, and she could come back years later and said, I did marry him, you know, she can come back now and say, I did marry him. But then years later, you know, when she come back with an update, I decided to go ahead and marry him, blah, blah, blah. And then come back with an update years later and say it didn't work out because, you know, it got too toxic. It was already toxic, and I thought I can make it. I thought I could deal with that, and it could even be turned into some abuse. And I hope not. But I'm just saying that in this particular situation, those are already red flags, and those have to be addressed. And if he's doing all of that by going to get a dress you picked out, you know, and violating your freedom of expression, then that's a red flag right there, because you have a right to freedom of expression. You have a right to pick out your own wedding gown. You're a grown woman, and you have that right to do so, and what's going to be comfortable for you. Because sometimes people can go out and buy you clothes, and they mean well, but those clothes may not always fit you. They may not look good on you. You know, you may not feel comfortable in those clothes. I know that you know, someone bought me some clothes before, and I tried them on, and they just didn't look right. They just were not for me. It was not my style, and I was like, this don't fit, this don't look right. So I wind up taking that stuff back and getting some things that we both agreed upon, and you know, because it was my son's father, and I will say that, and he was my husband, but he's my son's father, and I just didn't, I like cool looking stuff, you know, and I like bell bottoms and, you know, and hippie stuff, but I like classic things too, and other things. So you know, and so, but the stuff that he brought, it just was cheesy. You know, I'm a person that like nice stuff. And so I thought, that's kind of cheesy. You know, I didn't say that to him, but I'm thinking, and I'm in the mirror trying it all. I just could not. And I was like, nah. So you know, like I said, we went back to the store, and he was okay with it. And you know, and he liked what I picked out. He was like, that's really cool. I like that on you. You know, the cool bell bottoms had some buttons down the side, you know, really cool. And, you know, this was in the, 90s, right? And nice top, you know, nice cute tops, and nice little cool jewelry and necklace. You know, I love jewelry. You guys know I make jewelry. I sell it too, you know. And so check out my Instagram, you know, StandupBcounted on my Instagram. But anyway, you know, I like cool fashion jewelry. I make mostly fashion jewelry, but it was so cool, you know, and then things like that. And so all I'm saying is you got to be able to have you know, freedom to freedom of expression, being able to express yourself. You know, self-expression, and that has to be respected. You know, your views and your opinions. You may not necessarily agree on everything, but just respect my opinions or respect my views. Now, you know, if my views are so radical, you know, and that they are harmful and things, that's a different story. You know, that's something different, you know, and we got to talk about those things. But if my views is like, hey, you know, I like this, I don't really care for that. Or you can pick out a dress, maybe, you know, that, okay, I really like that dress, or maybe I do like that dress over there. Let me try that dress on. Yeah, you know what? That dress do look better on me. There is nothing wrong with compromise. But if someone says this is the dress they like, this is what they picked out, and they have this vision, that's their wedding, and the bride should be able to do that. That shouldn't be taken from her. And again, the groom had no business inserting himself in. He could have talked to his mom and appeased her, but he should have told her, no, mom, that's, you know, I respect I respect her wishes. I respect her opinion. I respect her self-expression. And I'm sure that whatever dress she picked out is not going to be embarrassing. It's going to be appropriate. You know, it's going to look good. People are going to admire the bride walking down the aisle. You know, it's going to be a lot of admiration, and it's going to be about love, harmony, wholesomeness, fun, you know, good well wishes, good cheer. And you know, those are things, instead of telling her, okay, well, let me go get the dress and take it back and appease his mother, and get the dress she wanted. That's already setting up some failure right there, man. That's setting up failure right there. If you, in my opinion, you're already setting it up to be negative. You're already setting up your wedding, your marriage to be, you know, already on the defense. You're setting it up for some toxicity. You're setting it up for, you know, a lack of trust, because she's not going to be able to trust you now. because you did it behind her back. So there's already some trust that's been broken. There's some violation of trust. You violated my trust when you took my dress back that I went out, that I picked out. There's a violation of trust right there. And to me, it's not about the dress. It's about the principles behind it. Because, see, anybody can go get married in a $30 dress. You know what I'm saying? That could be beautiful, because it could have been a dress that was taken back but never worn. It could be a dress that was on a rack that didn't work out and it was $30. You know what I'm saying? And they just have to maybe alter it, or maybe it fits you perfectly. You know what I'm saying? When you go to these bridal stores, they have dresses like that. The bride changed her mind, or she didn't get married after all. And so there are some very expensive dresses that get marked down for various reasons. And you can get a dress for $30 that was a $300, $400, $500, $600, maybe $1,000 dress or more, and you can get it for $30, $40, $50, maybe $200, $300. People have stories about dresses, that very expensive dresses, that they got a good deal on. You know what I'm saying? Because your wedding should be a blissful one. And you should be going into the wedding knowing that you two have come together. God have joined you. Let no man put asunder what God has joined together, and be blessed. And so this doesn't sound like it's going to be blessed. It doesn't sound like this. It already sounds like there's a problem there. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's scary to me. So for me, and I would be like, bro. And I wouldn't say bro, I'm just speaking entertainment, but I would say, whatever his name is, I'm sorry, but, here's your ring back. I've had some been able to reflect, self-examination, and I just think it's best that I go my separate way, you go yours, and I wish you and your mother the best, in the wedding that you want to have in the future, whoever it may be. And I wish that bride, the best as well. And I'm moving on, because again, you don't want to go into a relationship knowing there's already problems, especially with the mother potential. This is the mother-in-law from HEWL hockey sticks, because that's what it's going to be. And you don't want that, because you know what, you want to be able to get along with your in-laws. You want to be able to receive them in a positive manner and not be afraid, not feel inferior, and feel like, self-conscious of yourself when you go around the groom's family, your husband's family. You don't want to be in that type of situation. And so, you just don't. And it's going to always be a tug of war. And in this day and age, who wants a tug of war? We've already had so much going on, even in politics, the judicial system, and all the killings and murders and different things like that in the schools, shootings. And now you got all this, a lot of the transgender LGBT stuff, and dealing with restrooms. It is so much going on in this world. Why would you want to have a tug of war with the person that you love, that you consented to marrying, and now you got a tug of war in your own personal life? We want to have peace in our lives. We want to have peace in our homes. And if you're going somewhere that has to be around your groom's family, or even the bride's family, you don't want to feel like an outsider. You want to feel like you fit in, that you do get along, but you also want to be respected. And that's one of the things about this. It's really not about the dress. The groom's mother made it about the material things and the vision and all of that. She made it about that. You know what I'm saying? And then the son inserted himself and he went along with it. But really, it's about the principles. And we should think about our principles. Do our principles align with the person you're marrying or you're getting engaged to? Does those principles align with each other? Is it more 90% or 95% good and 5% bad or something like that? So are my principles in line? Are our principles aligned? Are we equally yoked? Or is that person's principles are so far off, or their views are so far off, that we're going to always be battling and debating and arguing that can turn toxic? You don't want to enter into a type of relationship or marriage like that. So the best thing is that, in my opinion, is to move forward. And I hear what the father was saying about you don't want to go into that. That's right. But she should be able to pick out her own wedding dress with no problem. So, because he's telling her to wisen up. Well, first of all, what's this wisen up about? Wisen up means, you know what? All the money in the world cannot convince me, because I'm not easily persuaded. So all the money in the world is not going to convince me or persuade me to marry somebody with some nonsense like this. Because you know what? my peace is very important. My peace. I'd rather have peace than a whole bunch of money, because if you got to go through that type of stuff just to have money, because we don't know if there's money involved and we don't know if they're well off. We don't know those things. And we don't know the background of the bride either. Did she come from poverty? We don't know none of that. But at the end of the day, my peace is important to me. And I know when to get away from the chaos, the noise. And I'm one of them people. Look, I don't have time for it. I don't want all that chaos around me, y'all. That's too much. And some families do have chaos. They dwell in it. They love it. You know what I mean? They swimming in it. They oblige chaos. They want that. That is not the way that you want to live your life. And chaos can cause stress. It can cause anxiety, anxiousness, depression, PTSD, emotional, mental health, physical ailments. You don't need all that. You want to be happy. You want to have peace. And matter of fact, you want to have joy. And see, joy is better than happiness. Because see, joy is, the world didn't give it to you, and the world can't take it from you. It's a peace of mind that surpasses all understanding. Joy is there when nothing else is there. Even if you got certain situations going on, your joy cannot be taken from you. So let's get into these comments. Let's see here. So there was a lot of comments, and they said that her reaction was totally justified. Yeah, it was, and with many encouraging her to call off the wedding. To your mother-in-law, you are not a person. You are an accessory that attaches to her son's arm, one wrote. If your fiance isn't willing to stand up for you and himself, you will have to get used to having her run your lives from here on out. This is what they're saying. If he's not willing to step up, the fiance, and stand up to him and his bride. Right. That's what's going to happen. The mother-in-law is going to be running their lives. I agree with that. Now, and the next comment, this dynamic isn't something that's going to go away with the wedding. Agreed another. I agree there too. Even if you smooth over the current issue or simply come to accept her choice, it will not be the end of it. I told y'all, it won't be the end of it. I told you all that it will not be the end of it, because she's going to be over there trying to pick out the paint. I don't like this. When I come over here, I want a nice blue on the wall. A nice simple gray. You know what I'm saying? She's going to be over there mad. Anytime you all invite her to dinner, she's going to be over there mad because she don't like the colors on the wall. If the groom sets the table, the bride and the groom set the table, she's going to be, hey, you all, she's going to be one of those mother-in-laws that changes the settings on the table. This isn't right. I want the dish over here. See, the dish needs to be over there. She's going to be doing all that. She's going to criticize the baking. She's going to criticize everything that she can. I'm trying to tell you all, this is what this woman is going to be doing. It will not be the end of it. She's going to go in the bathroom. The bathroom going to be clean, but she's going to say she don't like the air freshener. Or she's going to look in the corner and see there's a piece of dust that got missed. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be all of that. You don't want that type. Ooh, you don't want to start off like that in life. And you 28 also, young lady, 28, you at a time in your life, around the time where you can get married, you can bear children. You do not need to go through all that. You don't need that. And then there was another person said, meanwhile, the third one, I guarantee you that your fiance and potential mother-in-law, and that's why I kept saying potential, potential mother-in-law, because they're not married yet, will get all fussy if you end the relationship over just the dress, because they will not see. Now, they put will not see in all caps that it isn't about the dress at all. It's about your fiance valuing his mother's priorities, desires, and opinions over yours. I said that too. And that is true. That he's valuing his mother's pride. I was saying how he don't respect her priorities, her opinions, or none of that, and stuff. He doesn't respect her priority. He's gonna put this is what his mother wants, and so that's what he's doing. Valuing his mother priorities, desires, and opinions over his brides. Woo, that's not good. And then a fourth urged the LP to hand her engagement ring back to her partner and say, I hope you get the wedding you and your mom have always hoped for, and then walk away. See, this is what I'm saying. I was sitting here, man, and I was like, I was reading all of this, and I was evaluating everything in my mind. And then when I got to the comments, I was like, that's what I was like, we're on the same page. After I evaluated this article, and when I got to the comments, I was like, that was the same stuff. We on the same page. I like what they were saying. And hopefully there will be an update. Hopefully she'll come back with some type of update, and let us know. let us know, did she go ahead and marry him, or did she just, say no? You know, um, we hope to see an update, and if not, that's where we're at. But I would like to hear what you all have to say about this, and have you ever went through some changes like that, and did you go ahead, and proceed knowing there was red flags, and it may not even been the dress thing, it might have been other stuff, you know what I'm saying? And have you experienced that in your own marriage or relationship, where you got married, but prior to that, did you see red flags? Did you go ahead and proceed in your marriage? Have you experienced that? And then what do you think about this? Do you think that the mother, the groom's mother, has a right to pick out the bride's wedding dress? Oh, I should get a lot of comments on that. It's probably going to be no, but I'd like to see what you all have to say about that. And then the other thing is, we have to keep in mind, everybody has different cultures and values, and some men do put their mothers, priorities and ideals over the brides. That's like this subservient type of, environment or culture. And that's a problem. And I think a lot of women, even in other cultures, are trying to get away from that subservient type of, mindset, because there is still the subservient mindset. But picking out a bride's wedding dress, to the point where the bride doesn't have any say-so about what she's going to wear on that day, I think is just totally, it's just not right. It's very self-centered on the other party that would do that. It's just, it's about their own interests and whatever gain that they have. And they may be holding something over the groom. Maybe it's money, maybe it's an inheritance, who knows what it could be. Or maybe they had already told folks, she gonna do what I want and she gonna wear what I want, and this is the vision I have. And then when the vision don't align, it don't come to fruition, then that person, pride in the way, may be so, they may get upset by it because they went out there and ran their mouth and spread it, a story, a narrative that just wasn't gonna happen in the first place. So again, leave your comments below. Let's get the conversation started on what you think about the groom and the bride, and this, the potential mother-in-law from HELL hockey sticks. She is the Mozilla, the Mozilla. The Mozilla, like the bridezilla, she's the Mozilla. The Mozilla. So what do you think about the Mozilla? So leave your comments below. Thank you all for tuning in, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And then don't forget the copyright disclaimer on the Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringed. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber. Share the video. And young women, don't let anyone take away your freedom of expression. That is your constitutional right. And recognize the red flags before you get caught up in something. Don't accept the ring if there's already red flags that cannot be resolved or worked out. And if you did accept the ring, now that you're seeing some other stuff, always think about it. Do a self-examination and analysis. See what's going on, and make sure that you will be safe, that you will be okay in the choices that you make. And you do not have to stay in a relationship. And if the engagement doesn't work out, don't feel bad. There's other fishes in the sea. There are beautiful ponds that are not polluted. And that's what I'm going to say. Don't dive in a polluted pond. God bless you all on today.